What is up, Wizards fans? If you ever needed a sign from the universe that it hates you, tonight's basketball game, I think, should deliver that message immediately to you after the best first quarter in probably a decade, realistically. We came crashing back down to earth. It got worse pretty much in the second quarter and then way worse in the third quarter. And then the worst thing possible happened. Really, the only bad outcome that you couldn't have happen happens in the fourth quarter. Bub Carrington leaves the game early with a knee injury. Not a doctor or pretend to be one, but looked like a meniscus tear or something. Your knee doesn't do that unless something happens. The only hope here is that he is young and durable enough that maybe it's just a sprain or something. But that was not a good sign. I don't know, DJ, where are you at with this thing, man?
Look, anybody who was like seeing me on Twitter, I was up here.
Same.
You couldn't tell me anything different, right? I
Yep.
mean, I was way up, and then just felt like the hot air balloon just got hit by a F-16, and I just started going down fast, and just Mayday all the way down. And then I think the proverbial bad icing on the cake just was definitely seeing Puck go down. And like you said, all you can do is hope that the young boy can just that everything's hopefully okay.
Mhm.
Who knows? But you know, yeah, let's just hope that it's a speedy recovery.
Yeah, for anyone who didn't see it live, on the jump, looks like maybe something buckled or whatnot, and then he landed kind of funny too. So I don't know exactly what happened there, but not ideal. Uh, oh man, Michael Migdal in the chat tuned into the game seconds before the Bub spill. I am gutted. Yeah, that is brutal. You missed even the fun part of the game, all
Yeah,
12 minutes of it. It never makes no sense. Said worried about Kuz trade value. Yeah, you should be after. I mean, one game, no NBA team is going to take that to heart. But coming off a bad preseason, can't afford a string of those. I mean, but teams have seen enough of a good sample size from him that it's not drastic. Fabulous results. Said was having a good night until that Bub injury looked bad. Yeah, no argument there. Even them getting pummeled, it was like, well, at least the young guys, we could have something to kind of hold on to. But before we get too far into this, brought to you by Stateside Vodka and their Surfside Hard Iced Teas. Obviously, this is a perfect time to just chug them right now, mainline them directly into your veins. Also brought to you by BetOnline. It's your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From MLB, golf, NBA, everything you think of. The NFL, maybe we'll just switch to being a football podcast because we can't have nice things here in basketball land. Get the latest stats, news, and scores available for your favorite teams. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet online where the game starts. All right, let's maybe just do a first quarter podcast here, and we'll just focus on the happy part here for a bit. They came out scorching. Jordan Poole was the Jordan Poole everybody wanted him to see. He was absolutely unguardable for like an 8-minute stretch of the first quarter, and it was just like, oh man, okay, like this is it. This is the moment we've all dreamed of. It was the LeBron meme, uh like can't believe I'm having times like this, like whatever it is. Like it just sorry, I'm frazzled and I'm tired anyway, but yeah, that was as good a start I think as you could have had to a season for Jordan Poole and honestly he cooled back off a little bit, but still probably one of the better overall performers for the game. He was playing defense early in the game too, which was one of the greater things I think I've ever seen. There was a possession where he really stood up well on defense, and then it led to a fast break. And Bub drove on, or no, sorry, Bilal drove on Jalen Brown and scored. And I was like, oh my God, like this is literally the best like 30 seconds of Wizards basketball I could have ever hoped for. The two things you'd want to see. So, some positive early signs. They just stopped hitting shots. They went under screens. They gave up a lot of threes. And yeah, we just slowly came crashing back down to earth. But I don't know. For the first quarter, like what was your highlight for you, DJ?
Oh, that's real easy. It was just seeing Bub, and I know it's a sore spot not talking about it, but it was Bub just talking
Yep.
straight shit to Holiday.
Yep.
Just, hey, look, this your first game, bro. He did not care,
Nope.
guarded him up. All of a sudden, played good defense. Here comes Sar with the block. Boom, Sar goes all the way down. Scores. It to me that was easily it. And kind of going back to the JP thing, right?
Mhm.
Like JP, like this is why sometimes plus and minus just like baffles me because I look at the plus minus and I see he's minus 19, but like the eye test showed you that he was the only one scoring. He was
Mhm.
doing his best to facilitate it. He only had 4 assists, but to be honest, he easily would have had a double double if people were just hitting their shots.
Yeah.
And then we talk about the defense. One block, I don't know where that came from. Maybe I might have missed that, but the 4 steals, I definitely noticed those. Right? I mean, you're talking about
He should
being
have
able
had
to
another one that they
guard.
called a foul, that one possession, or maybe that was
Yeah.
the one they gave him a block for, I don't know, but, it
Yeah. Oh
would have given
yeah,
him a
yeah.
block one. Yeah.
And they challenged that one. So so again, it could have been even more. So you just see maybe not necessarily the on ball defense, the traditional on ball, but just getting into the passing lanes,
Mhm.
kind of getting them sneaky steals, from behind the big or things like that. So, I thought he did a tremendous job really on all levels. It's just unfortunate that, he was the only one, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you. When he cooled off, the offense just went to shit completely. Like, he finished the
Yeah.
game 9 of 17, which is 53% from the field. You love that. 6 of 11 from 3. He took a couple really bad ones, but he also made a couple bad ones. That's 54.5% from 3. Obviously incredible. Had the 4 turnovers, but again, like, I think he was like those were mostly ones where he was trying to do the right thing. There was one where, he was trying to, like, do a give and go, I think, with Valanciunas, and Valanciunas turned to set the screen, and the ball just went out of bounds. Like, that's gonna happen over the course of the game when you have the ball that much. Like, I'm not too worried about that kind of stuff for the most part. But, taking away that, like, scorching first quarter, it wouldn't really look like that good of a game, and I think that's why the plus minus was bad because once he stopped hitting those shots, uh, they were just they were kinda lost without him, and I'm not saying that's on him. He was probably the best player in the game. You could also make a case that this was the best Valanciunas game you may get all season, and it was great for his value. He was 8 of 13 from the field. He ate up Luke Cornett and Kada and all these other guys, and Tillman finished with 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. That was actually nice to see because it made me think, like, as bad as he was in the preseason, like, maybe you could get something for him. He still looks slow and plodding out there, but he took advantage of his 20 minutes at least.
Yeah, like if we're going to talk about the ugliest thing of the game, it was, which was probably more beneficial for him, is just that third quarter. Because that third quarter,
Mhm.
they just went to 90s basketball and fed that man in the post like
Yep.
the entire time because they had nothing. And I think that was probably a bit the most concerning was that like the offense just kind of ended up running through him for all the third quarter, and then that was the worst quarter. We couldn't hit a three, so we had to go to the post, and it's like, you kind of would like to see some more half court offense being executed, just to kind of, you know, get some good buckets there.
Yeah, totally agree. The other thing you said about Bub, when the play where he kind of held up to the Drew Holiday post up, I thought was amazing, and the fact that he slowed him up enough for Sar to kind of recover and rotate and pin him off the backboard, I was like, yes. I was running around my living room like anything that gets you up off the couch is obviously amazing. And question from Highlight Haven in the chat here: thoughts on Sar? Didn't look great on the box score, but had a nice block and a dunk. Yeah, I mean, look, similar things from a couple other folks here. It never makes no sense. Says Sar moved really well, bit on too many pump fakes and missed a lot of shots, but it's really clear what the vision is with him. Agreed. Will Clayton, I like Sar defensively, stuck with the guys on the perimeter, and they just hit really tough shots. Totally agree. I mean, it's just those are all learning curve things from him. I think if you just have him watch film and you can have teachable moments like that, hey, don't bite on this pump fake, stay on your feet, make them just hit a tough shot over you. Like that's all like easy stuff. What's more concerning was just some of the shot selection stuff. Again, you saw him settle for way too many easy jumpers, and I know he hit some of them in the preseason and has a little confidence going maybe, but it's still just not what you want from him. Like the way Valanciunas, who's obviously a much bigger, more physically developed person, feasted in the paint on some of these guys that are fringe NBA players like Cornette and Kada. I would have liked to see Sar be more aggressive than that, and honestly, he kind of still shied away. So again, you know, it's fine. Like it's just early. It's all again teachable stuff, but it wasn't ideal. Just pause real quick to say if you were watching this on YouTube or even on Twitter, go to YouTube and click the like button for us. We always appreciate that. And please subscribe. We'll be doing this for every game this season, or at least there are as many of them as we can tolerate because there might be a few stinkers like this overall. But uh, appreciate everybody's comments in the chat here. I think it was just it's It's more good than bad. Never makes no sense. Says Bub has a mild ankle sprain per Brian Keefe and Josh Robbins. That is literally best
That's
case scenario, man. We can all
that
relieve.
is that now you never want to see anybody get hurt, but just that news just makes me like breathe a sigh of relief. Like, thank God, because like I really want to see him continue to play more and more and more. I would have been
Yeah.
devastated just to hear if he was like out like for an extended period of time.
The joys of being young, man. You can just survive everything because
Yeah,
all the
wouldn't
I
be
watch.
me.
Yeah, exactly. I play enough old guy pickup still that like that's an e-tear or something. So
Yeah.
hey, we'll take it. Means we can get back to having a fun show now. I was thinking about canceling my favorite segment of the season, which is the Alexei Petrov I Get Buckets Son MVP award for the game. That's the person with the most irrational confidence who is willing to just keep throwing up shit no matter how many of them have no chance of going in. The clear-cut winner for that award tonight is Kyle Kuzma, going 6 of 16 from the field. That's 37%, 0 of 5 from 3. The man did not stop shooting. I've been like probably the one of the 2 or 3 most adamant defenders of Kyle Kuzma on Wizards Twitter, but it's just hard, man. Like it's that was rough. He looked slow and out of it, and I want to say it was Troy Halberton who mentioned like he was kind of falling around. I saw a couple other guys slip on one side of the court too. So first I was like, well, but he just, yeah, he looked out of it and just, it was like baby giraffe, baby deer syndrome, just kind of wobbly legged. And uh, they, they got to do something about that and sit the man down and be like, bro, you're not gonna be a piece here, you're not gonna get the same usage, or we're not gonna get you out of town if that's what you wanna do, if you don't play a certain way or certain style of play, because it just you can't have too many nights like that. The one thing he didn't do a lot of, at least, was turn it over, because he had a couple turnover fest in the preseason, but I don't know. What was your overall take on Kuzma?
Yeah, just one of the if we're going to talk about some of the good things, right? It's you saw that tempo, that pace, you saw the energy in the first quarter. The
Mhm.
problem was it was everybody in it except for Kuz. It just
Really was.
you didn't see Kuz kind of bring that energy where right. Look, the Rooks didn't have a good game, for all intents and purposes, right?
Sure.
And but we talked about the good things of
Mhm.
Bub being a dog, just like kind of bringing, a little bit of that trash talk. Like it didn't matter if he had a good game or not.
Mhm.
He had the confidence that he could have a good game, right? So,
Yep.
starting being a rook, your first game,
Yeah,
you
it
get that
happens.
pass for me, right?
Mhm. Totally.
Sar started off looking great to me in that first quarter, but
Mhm.
somewhere
Defense
along the
was great.
line, yeah, I mean, yeah, the defense, right? You know, you got to understand that you're 7 foot, right? Like you don't need to jump on bite on those pump fakes from a 6 foot, like 2, 3, 4 guy. Like just use your length. I mean, that's kind of what you need to do.
Mhm.
Keyshawn didn't do a bad job either. Everybody to me brought all the rooks brought the energy, and which is what we talked about in the pregame is what we want. Like you said, Kuz, it just looked like slow, methodical. I think some people were saying that he looks like he's out of shape. You know,
Hard to argue
who
with that.
knows?
I mean, honestly.
So it just to me, it almost just I'm not questioning too much, but it looks he looks disinterested, you know. Um, so
You gotta
who
have a real
knows?
talk with him to that point, like, if if that isn't what it is, you need to hear him say it, like, that they
Yeah,
need to talk about the elephant in the room with him, and if they've been so transparent on trading him or not trading him, like, you can have a real talk with him and just be like, "Bro, what is going on here?" I mean,
yeah. I mean, look, and then it was just like we said. It's for whatever reason, I have we have yet to see a game where both, at least from my recollection, where both Poole and Kuzma are just kind of leading. And my thought process was once Poole left the game, you kind of thought maybe Kuzma, maybe he's kind of like playing idle right now, like let
mhm,
JP kind of have it. And then once he leaves the game, that didn't happen,
yeah.
right? So that was a little disappointing, right? Obviously, it's the first game. Maybe he gets himself, out of the funk into playing shape. Who knows what's going to happen? But you know, hey,
Well, at the very least, he won the first award of the season here, so we'll get him a cardboard cutout of Alexei Petrov for old time's sake. But yeah, man, just you need more from your vet leader. Just do other things. Like that's just go get some rebounds, play some actual defense. He also was doing some crazy shit on the defensive end in the second half. Like I actually thought his defense early, he was like trying to do some good stuff. And like the one where he double teamed to help, Bub out and they hit a 3 on the rotation, like, okay, it's one play. I'm not too worried about it. But it just sort of got worse as the game went on and seemed more apathetic. And I don't know, he's just kind of there getting cardio in. Not great. Catching up in the chat here, just Curtis Price asked thoughts on our rotation. I think what you saw tonight is pretty much the rotation plus Brogdon whenever he comes back. And if any of these guys get traded between now and then, I don't think you're going to see a ton of Rashawn Holmes and Patrick Baldwin Jr. and Justin Champagnie and Anthony Gill on nights where they aren't getting boat raced by somebody. Probably same case for Jared Butler. So it's all the guys that played 20 plus minutes. I think basically that is the rotation. Cool Molly finished with 29, which I love to see. Kuzma 27, Sar only 21. Would have liked to be a few more there. Jordan Poole had 32. This was not a night where you needed to play Jordan Poole 32 minutes. Bub got 25. Valanciunas 20. Kispert 24. Kispert was like a little too quiet for my liking tonight as well. Keyshawn had 20. That's your rotation plus 7 or 8 minutes, here or there from Bagley and Butler and a few of those guys, but give or take, like that's the group. So
you know what? I'll talk about that. I
yeah,
thought Bagley actually played pretty well. I mean, he came in for
fine.
spot minutes before it became like garbage time.
Mhm.
But I liked what I saw from Bagley, and
Yep.
you can kind of see a world where if Valanciunas eventually does end up getting traded, right? You can see Bagley being a decent backup there.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm with you. Let's see. Mark Salmon? I don't know. You tell me how you pronounce it. Could go either way. Said I liked 8 free throw attempts, but how does Bilal finish with 2 shots? Sometimes guys, I think especially young guys, when they show a new wrinkle of their game, they get into this mode of like, let me keep doing that. So he made a couple good passes earlier, had a couple assists, got other people going, and I think he just got kind of like fell in love with doing that because there's one where he drove and could have either like yammed it on somebody or finger rolled over him and he kicked it out to the left corner for a 3. And I was just like, bro, what are you doing? Hammer
It
on
looked
somebody.
like he was really about to baptize
Yeah.
somebody in that
Yep.
paint, and then it just looked like a bailout pass, like a fancy bailout
Mhm.
pass, and I was like, I would have liked to see you dunk it there. Where's this pass going? And it's kind of like $1 million idea, $2 execution.
Yeah, I'm sure Luke Cornett is a nice young man, but I wanted to see him end up in a body bag there. And, Bilal just kind of let him off the hook. Ace of Stripe, I enjoyed the first half. Agreed. I think that's the summary of the entire game. Will Clayton, Bilal with 2 shots is frustrating. Loved his passing when he needs to get at the rim. Totally agree. It never makes no sense. It seems like he's been suffering through depression since midway through last season. I'm not a body language doctor, so I'll take your word for it. But he needs to shoot some threes to stretch the defense. Agreed. And that's going to allow him to get downhill more, which would be nice. Ain't no half Stephen. Need Kispert and Bilal to shoot more. 100% agree. Need more Bilal dog. I thought Bilal was a dog on the defensive end. He's still
Mhm.
kind of slight and got bullied a couple times by Tatum, but Tatum does that to literally every wing defender in the league. So, hey, it happens. But for the most part, I thought he held his own and kind of got up in him and made him shoot some tough jumpers. And Tatum is very good at shooting tough jumpers. So, I'll give
Yeah,
him a look
yeah,
at that.
it was just at the end of the day, it was just good defense but better offense. I thought Bilal played pretty great in my opinion as far as on the defensive side. I mean, obviously there's some mistakes, but I think right, you look at the team defense as a whole, rotations were off, right? I mean, communication didn't seem to be there, but if we're just strictly looking at Bilal one on one against Tatum, just good defense, hand in the
Mhm.
face, didn't let him get past you. He just made some tough shots. Some
Yep.
really tough shots.
Yeah, it's going to happen, especially with the better guys in the league and the guys he's matched up with. You just make it as tough as you can.
Right.
I thought the like rotations, there were like 2 really missed ones early, like they blew it completely. But for the most part, early, I was like, yes, we are actually rotating. When was the last time we've done this? And then they just sort of fell off a cliff, like at the end of the second quarter and the whole third quarter. That was a problem with this team last year, is like a couple third quarters where there's a close game totally slipped out of their hands early. And I hope that that's not the beginning of a trend here this year. To me, like I'm actually more worried about the overall offense than I am the defense, which I never thought I would say. But once Poole cooled off, like they had no answers. And granted, the Celtics are a really good defensive team. So maybe you just throw out the tape from the second half and focus on the good stuff. I don't know. But I know Keefe has talked about installing a new offense, and they're still learning. It very much looked like that, and guys just didn't seem to know what was going on a ton. So
Yeah,
hopefully better.
and I think we just have to keep it all in the perspective too, right? We're talking about literally a championship team, the champion team versus a rebuilding team, right? A team
Yep.
who's competing for a championship, and literally us, right, competing for flag or ace, right? So, um, you know, like we kind of were hoping for, right? They really blitzed on that first quarter, took them by surprise, right? They gave them the first punch. The champions just punched back harder though, right? And for the most part, again, we love the first quarter, and good teams make adjustments, and it looked like the Celtics made adjustments defensively. They started switching on everything, and they
Mhm.
just, once they saw that we couldn't hit the side of a barnyard outside the pool, they just focused all their energy on like, okay, we're just gonna, we're gonna make you drive on us, right? Make you try to score some points in the paint, which it seems here we were pretty successful. I mean, we had 66 points in the paint, but from three, we shot 7 for 36. That's 19%. I mean, that's
It's not going to get it done. I mean, that's just not going
uh,
to get it done.
I mean, you even make just even 25% of your threes, and we're probably talking about clearly a closer matchup against the champs here. So, but like I said, championship teams make adjustments on the fly where they need to, and we didn't seem to make any adjustments ourselves.
One silver lining, I think, mentioned this with Kuzma, but overall as a team, they had less turnovers than the Celtics. They had only had 13. Like, I think if this team makes a couple more threes and only turns the ball over 13 times a game for the rest of the year, like, I'll take that given the amount of like young, unseasoned guys on the team. Like, that would be great. Honestly, I think like that was better than I expected. I think they had 30 in one of the preseason games. So like they've cleaned that up a little bit at the very least. If we're going, glass half full here, the rebounding was pretty close. They had 54. The Celtics had 59. Like, most of those things, it was just who hit shots and who didn't. And the Celtics got a lot easier looks because they just had, remember a couple years ago when everybody like trashed on the Celtics offense and they don't move the ball and like their two ball
Mhm.
stoppers with Brown and Tatum, like they were pretty crisp tonight too. So I think this was a real test, and I'm not too worried about it. One guy I want to ask you about specifically, we haven't really talked about him yet, of the rookies, Keyshawn George. What do you think of Keyshawn's minutes tonight?
I mean, look, he deserved the minutes. I thought, when he was out there, he did well. I mean, outside of the shooting here, I mean, I think that, besides him, well, actually, I'm probably more surprised that he wasn't able to get some of those wide open outside shots, right? Him and clearly amongst others, but like, um, you know, I don't know, call it maybe first game nerves or something. I mean,
Mhm.
but other than that, right, we saw some good ball movement, good
Yeah.
assists, getting on the board, it was like he did, if the shot wasn't falling, he was doing what he could, right? And that's
Mhm.
kind of what we've seen all preseason. So a little disappointed that he wasn't able to kind of hit some threes, right? That's the kind of guy like the Rook who's known for shooting threes that you want him to his first shot to be that, that corner or
That would have been
something
huge.
from long range, but it didn't happen. So we'll have to wait for the next game.
Yeah, and I'm totally right there with you. I think again, just the no reluctance when it came to putting him up, I think was good. You want some of that to rub off on Belisle, and we'll see how it goes. This is a dude that there's always like one guy on the team that doesn't play a ton of minutes and probably isn't that good, but I just like watching. I talked about him probably too much on the show, proportionate to how much he actually gets on the court. But I still really like Jared Butler minutes. He went 2 for 6 tonight, but just they felt better when he came in with the second unit because he just did solid things and like kind of calmed them down a little bit. Their backups outperformed the Celtics backups for some portion, of the fourth quarter there. And I think he had a reasonable amount to do with that. I was not happy to see him be the roster casualty. I am glad he's back on a two-way. I still worry about what that sends, message wise to the rest of the fringe players in the league. Like, I don't know that I'd really be super excited to come sign a two-way here if they're going to keep people that aren't contributors ahead of me. But either way, I still just like Butler. I can't help it, man. Like, I don't know. Am I crazy, or did you think he was decent in his minutes tonight?
No, I mean you immediately saw. I mean, again, right? Put into context, the backups of the
Yeah,
backups of the Celtics bench, but
for sure.
you really it's kind of like being a floor general, right? It's like
Mhm.
getting everybody like, all right, look, it's garbage time, but we're gonna make the most of this. We're gonna go out here, and you just immediately saw like kind of like a different style
Yep.
once he was out there on the floor, and his style of kind of being a floor general versus kind of like the score first of JP, right? Completely different. It's fine, right? JP has his own style, and Butler has his own. So, but yeah, as far as him being kind of like that casualty, I agree. Sending the wrong message. I didn't think that he would be the one. That was probably the last person I thought. Right, I thought it'd be a few others that would probably get the cut first, but
Yep.
I'm glad to have him back on the team. And I'll ask you this question though: is that do you think that when Brogdon comes back, do you think that he'll kind of have that same effect as Butler?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's actually something that really hurt them tonight, is you just need, like, a stabilizing force who's not gonna do dumb shit. Brogdon's
Mhm.
not gonna get torched defensively. He's gonna make wide open shots. He's gonna get people into sets. He's gonna get a few easier looks for a couple of these other guys that don't really look to get easy looks for each other. So, yeah, I think that's actually a really good call, and that was probably a big blow to what they wanted to do this year. So it'll be interesting to see, if and when he comes back this season. I have no idea what the timeline for that will really look like. I know they said like 2 months or whatever the case may be. I can't imagine that they're gonna rush him back just to try to trade him. So
Yeah.
I bet it's
Yeah.
like sometime in the new year until we really see Brogdon out on the court, which is disappointing. So, yeah, having some other veteran stabilizing guard would be good, especially if they're tentative, with rushing Bub back. Like, you might actually get more Butler minutes, and maybe that's not the worst thing right now. It's just somebody to, be a game manager. He's like the Trent Dilfer, of NBA point guards right now. Just like probably should be out on the court, but he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. He just does solid stuff, and maybe that's good enough to let other people, do their thing.
Yeah. Agreed. Game manager.
All right. Anybody we haven't hit on tonight that you think we should talk about, or I think we've pretty well beat this one up, but
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just a quick recap, right? Love what Poole did, right? Rookies didn't play the best, but love the energy in the first quarter, like the most of us, right? We said that. Like I said, I'll give a shout out to Bagley. I thought him and Butler, the minutes that they played were, you know, pretty good.
mhm.
Yeah, we've said most of the good, we've said most of the bad, but hey,
Yeah,
it's
three
it's,
bright.
it's the race. It's the race.
Yep. Yeah, perfectly said. The Koulibaly free throw attempts, I like that. Get to the line, do that all the time. That's awesome. Valanciunas scoring around the rim was awesome. Pool early, just looking like the Pool you'd want to see. And then the rookies not being afraid. I think that's good. Kuzma can't be this bad all season. Koulibaly's gonna have to be more aggressive than that this season. Sarr's not gonna shoot that poorly all season. Kispert needs to be more aggressive like we saw in that last preseason game that, you know, by all intents and purposes probably got him paid, because they thought, "Oh, this is the guy we're gonna get." So it's a little disappointing from him to see him come out and be a little gun shy after that, but it happened. So I want him to bounce back next game here as well. Speaking of that, the next game is another home game, which is I can't remember the last time the Wizards had 2 home games to start out the year. They played the Cavaliers on Sunday at 7 PM. That's 10/26. So October 26th. October 26th at 7 PM. So check that out. DJ, any final thoughts here?
Uh, Look, it can't get any worse on their 3-point shooting than it did
True.
this game, right? I mean, it can't get any worse than it was today. And look, if we can turn that first quarter that we saw into
Bottle
two
it.
quarters,
Yep.
and even if we still lose it, I can watch that all year long. I can watch that just every game.
I screwed us because at one point I tweeted I could watch 82 games of this, and the Celtics literally went on that 15-3 run the minute after I hit send. So, guys, this is my fault. I apologize. I'll be better next time. This was Believe in Wizards. As DJ, check him out on the Chocolate City Hoops podcast. It's great stuff. We talked about it in the pregame. So go back and listen to that if you want to hear better, more hopeful versions of us a couple hours ago. I thought that was good stuff. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like button for us. We appreciate it. check in with all the other Department of Hoops podcasts. Chase and Ryan did a really good one yesterday to preview the season. We'll get the other guys uploaded here and keep things rolling as well. DJ, thanks for the time, man. Great stuff from you, and looking forward to doing this more with you throughout the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate the invite. We're going to keep doing this.
Damn right. And whether they want us to or not, hopefully we'll have more fun nights to talk about. We'll just talk about first quarters all year if we have to. I thank you all for joining us in the chat and staying up late after Wizards beat down. Means a lot that everybody's tuning in. And we'll catch you all next time, presented by betonline.ag.